I am an economist, and as such I'm loath to make predictions. Having spectacularly failed to appreciate the likelihood of global financial meltdown, and lost out both personally and academically for so doing, I shan't stick my head above the parapet on matters of economic forecasting anytime soon. But I'm also an enthusiast about the study of culture, and particularly mimetics. I hope eventually to develop a behavioural theory of mimetics that can be empirically tested and rigorously modelled, but that's a little way off. I don't wish to bore you with my mathematical musings. For now, I'll stay descriptive. Cultural change is definitely a process of creative destruction, but it's also a process of expansion. On the one hand, there is and always has been a set of mainstream or dominant cultures, and a more diffuse and less widespread set of counter and subcultures, the latter constantly feeding into and replacing the former. As our space for exchanging ideas expands due to education and new technology, however, there is room for an increasing number of ideas and dialogues. YouTube is a prime example of both of these things. On the one hand, mainstream culture is using it as a medium to propagate existing ideas. On the other hand, a rich and varied counterculture is developing. The real meat of YouTube for its users is the latter. YouTube is a space for those whose ideas are not given airtime to come and engage in the exchange of their ideas. For many years, this set of counter and subcultures has included the usual suspects: fundamentalists of every stripe, Christian, Muslim, vegan, fascist, political radicals, anarchists, libertarians, and their innumerable subgroups. YouTube has also been one of the few spaces for heated religious debate, as such debate is considered too unseemly for public consumption. However, under the Bush administration and the prevailing global climate of unthinking conservatism, a strange thing has happened. Social democrats, atheists, and other relatively mainstream but currently shunned cultures moved into the counterculture. But now I think no longer. With Obama in power and a world reeling from the follies of financial excess, the social democrats are back in force, and with growing awareness of the importance of secularism given events in the Muslim world, atheists are more acceptable too, and have more powerful spokespeople than ever. However, their comfortable worldviews under assault from all sides, we're beginning to see a backsliding of previously mainstream conservatives into the counterculture. Even more peculiarly, the atheists and liberals, or social democrats, as they should correctly be called, are still here. So the question is, where does YouTube go from here? Two scenarios I think are possible. Either YouTube will become a complementary subculture in a new mainstream culture of liberalism, or YouTube becomes a counterculture, made up of the same rabble of extremists plus the conservatives, where before there were liberals. So which is it going to be? Well, that I think depends on the efforts of people like me. If we can be effective, vocal, and enthusiastic in sharing good ideas and supporting one another, we can continue to feed good, useful ideas into mainstream culture. If we are not, YouTube will become a hotbed of conservative and regressive innuendo, and the choice is ours. So I crave your indulgence, dear subscribers, as I continue in my dull, but ultimately I think rewarding effort to discredit the detractors of climate change action, the opponents of civil liberties, and the charlatans who think they understand modern economics enough to peddle utopian visions of a gold standard or zero-tax economy. Such people may seem like trifling annoyances, but I think that in the long run, our efforts against them will pay dividends.